For some odd reason in this new location, the light seems to be incredibly, reflective. Last time that I recorded here, it wasn't so shiny, like you could actually tell what color this was. But anyways, I'll get on to the actual item. But the first time I recorded this, there was no audio at all, and I have no idea why that was, so hopefully it works this time and I don't just make a fool of myself. Anyways, I got this diecast a while ago, but I haven't been able to record it, and only people with 120 IQ can tell that I'm recording in a new location. The reason for this is because I have rearranged a lot of stuff where I used to record, so I can't really record there anymore. I got this in Galway, in diecast models for you, along with a few other things which aren't as interesting to me. I mean, they were cool, of course, but they wouldn't make interesting videos. So this, I got it, and this is the actual diecast. That's orange, although it appears white on the screen for me right now. So you have your cement mixer, which you're able to move. There's the back of it. Here's the other side, and here's the front. Now, on the bottom of it, it just says, damn, it won't focus, will it? Wow, it's just gone really blurry. There we go. It says made in Hong Kong, and there it says UDS equals 1 to 70. And that's all that it says. It doesn't say who made it. But you may notice it kind of looks a little bit like a Tomica, which is the Japanese really high quality diecast company. I didn't know what this was for so long, but then I was watching a video by a guy on YouTube called Matchbox Garage, and he was restoring one which he thought was a Tomica at first, until someone told him that it was actually a Lintoy, which basically they made copies of Tomica in Hong Kong. As far as I'm aware, Tomica never produced in Hong Kong, and they never said made in Hong Kong on the base, and they would always say Tomica on the base. His one was incredibly similar to my one, so it had very similar wheels, which were plastic and had rubber tires, painted chrome. His one had a chrome plastic piece for the bumper and the grille, just like my one, that was attached by melted plastic at the back, just like my one. His one had a very similar color of the interior and a very similar style. The paint was very similar in style as well. The entire construction of the vehicle was very similar. It even said made in Hong Kong, S equals, and then the scale of the vehicle, which was not 1 to 70, it was a smaller scale, I think. But anyways, that's what made me think that this was a Lintoy, just like the one that he got. Another thing is his one had a pullback spring motor in it, just like this one. Although the spring motor in this one is broke, which is a bit of a shame. As you can see, that wheel isn't moving. The spring motor goes between both of these axles, but there's a rivet there that used to hold the motor down. These two pieces of metal are actually part of the motor, and the rivet here broke, so that's why this is just really loose now. Another thing you may notice, no pullback action. When it goes back, it doesn't shoot forward like it's meant to, which obviously would be a good thing, because then it would just shoot off the table, and we don't exactly want that, do we? Anyways, so the reason for that is because the spring was actually destroying the sticker. All that damage along the sticker there, that's from the spring. So I unscrewed the base. By the way, yes, it is a screw-on base, just like the one in Matchbox Garage's video. So that's another thing that made me think that it was a Lintoy, because apparently all Lintoys have screw-on bases. So that would further add to my theory. So yes, I just took out the spring. It is a small shame, because now it's not really original anymore. But hopefully sometime I can actually put back the spring. Anyways, another thing I would mention is in Matchbox Garage's video about his Lintoy, I think it was like a Nissan of some variety. This one's a Nissan as well, a Nissan UD, as it says on the base. Well, it doesn't actually say Nissan, it just says UD, but you know, it is a Nissan UD truck. He said that his one, even though it was only a copy, a knockoff of a Tomica, he said that it was actually of higher quality than the majority of Matchboxes, Corgis and Hot Wheels that he owns. I would say the exact same thing about this, because full metal base, full metal, full metal, full metal, everything on it is die-cast metal, not any plastic parts, except for this piece here. That's like the only piece of the exterior that's made out of plastic. It's very well constructed. It looks nice. It has a screw-on base, which in my opinion, I prefer screw-on bases over rivets, because they allow you to actually open the vehicle if you ever needed to repair something. Whereas with a riveted base, you'd need to drill it open, which isn't that handy. And these wheels back here were also made of metal, whereas these ones are just plastic painted chrome. But yes, I think that it's a very high quality die-cast. It has a lot of nice detail on it. The majority of cheap knockoff ones don't have such detail. Also, if you look at the actual Tomica, which was made by, it was in their line that was called Dandy, Tomic Dandy. They released back in the 70s. This thing is almost identical to it. The only real differences are on the Dandy, there's like a little piece of metal there which is missing on this one, also painted green. Like the colors are identical. And another difference I noticed is that the headlights on this are just square, whereas on the Dandy they have like a small piece at the top that kind of slopes down. But other than that, they're pretty much identical. I do quite like this. So what I know about Lintoy so far is that they only existed in the 70s and 80s. So I'm guessing this is probably from the late 70s, just like the Tomic Dandy. And of course they're from Hong Kong, and I know that they produced this series which was called Construction Series, I think, and oddly even on the boxes they never featured their name. No idea why, but they had this, the Nissan UD. They had a box truck version of this same vehicle where like all of this was just replaced with a box truck which had opening doors, which were also made of metal, and they had a skip truck version of this. Oh, my doggo is barking. They had a skip truck version of this as well, and they also made an Isuzu Elf and different versions of the Isuzu Elf. Although unfortunately in later years they started making it with a plastic base, which is unfortunate, and it says made in China, and they've removed that logo on it. Shame, really. My dog seems really angry. But I do really like it, and I plan on making videos about the other obscure and rare diecast that I own, such as Geist Val and FC, which I have gotten recently. Yes, that's right, I've finally gotten an original FC. I had the original, my Minton box DAF truck, but that was a very late FC from the 90s, I believe. I've actually gotten one from the 70s now, which is nice. I have two Geist Val ambulances to show, one from the 70s, one from the 80s, and you can clearly tell that the earlier Geist Vals are of higher quality than the later ones. I'm just trying to think. I have another one actually from a company called Summer Metals, also from Hong Kong. A bus. It looks really nice, and I can't wait to show all that stuff. But the main thing I want to show, I got a Commodore 64, which I'm very excited to show. I'm just trying to think of other things I have to show. So a while ago I made a video about a Leadworks Cadillac, and it didn't have the windscreen. I have made a replacement windscreen for that, which I'm very proud of, and I'd like to show that at some point. Maybe just like a really quick 1-minute video of me showing the windscreen and explaining how I made it. But anyways, Lintoy Nissan UD cement truck.